Happy Saturday! Happy Saturday! The last Saturday of 2023, New Year's Eve tomorrow night. Uh, we're going to go watch fireworks, but anyway, hi folks. I hope everyone has had a good holiday week. Christmas was last Monday, so hope everybody had a great holiday. Hello to Doug and Shar at home watching on TV. Who have we got in the room, Miss Olga?
We have
Eli. Eli and Ralph. Hey Ralph. Hey Eli. Guys, welcome. I hope you had a good holiday. I really do. Yes. Another one come and gone. Doesn't bother me a bit. I just know now that it's every day is one day closer to spring. So that's how I look at it now, because the fun, magical time of Christmas and snow and snowmen and fun has now just turned to the bleak, dead, crappy, cold, snowy, muddy time of year. So paella on the menu tonight. Who was this one? I don't recall. I want to say John, but I would probably be wrong. Steve. Okay, so this one came from Steve. I've never made it before, and the only times I've ever seen paella was cooked with seafood. I'm not a huge fan of seafood, and so I started looking at different paella recipes, and apparently, traditionally, it's not made with seafood. Combination of meats like maybe rabbit and pork, and there was another one that was listed that's probably pretty common to maybe, I think, Spain. So lucky me, I lucked out that it's a little more traditional, I suppose, not to have it with seafood. I'm just going to admit it. I'm not a huge fan of seafood. So some things I do like, which may be weird, like clam chowder. I like that okay. I like shrimp okay. I like fish sometimes. Like fried cod or something like that. Do some fish and chips, but that's pretty much it. I'm not a big fan of mussels and calamari or squid. Just not a big fan of that stuff. So, okay, I did not put a side dish intentionally this weekend, just because paella pretty much has everything in it. It's got your veg, it's got your starch, it's got your protein. So I figured, we'll just call that good. But I did put up a dessert, and elephant ears won the vote this by a pretty big margin, as a matter of fact. So I'll be starting on the dough, I think, like right now. So it has time to do its thing before we start cooking it later.
Eli said that he fell asleep on the 24th and suddenly it's the 30th.
Did you drink a few beers over the holiday, Eli? So I just got 3/4 of a cup of milk there. I'm got to get it warmed up for the yeast. And I'm going to use yeast. There's really not a lot of difference between what you would put together for elephant ears and what you would use to put together some recipes for fry bread. There's really not much difference at all. I was pretty surprised when I first looked at it. I figured the elephant ears would be maybe a little more closer to a donut when it came to that, but really it's basically fry bread.
Greg's here.
Hey.
Good morning for the New Year's Eve from the man from the future.
Yes, Mr. Man from the future. Good morning for you, sir. All right, so we're going to get this together real quick. I got some yeast, and this is for the elephant ears, for those of you that have just joined. Got a little sugar there, about a tablespoon, a little bit of salt. Got some shortening. No, that's lard. That's right?
Yep.
Lard. Ooh. All right, let's get that in the bowl. All right, there's our 3/4 of a cup of milk.
Eli said he had a buddy that went drinking and went up woke up in another country.
I sort of had something like that happen. All right, let me get this out of the way. And I'll get this mixed up, and then I can just set it aside, and it can have time to raise and do whatever it needs to do before we start making dessert. Hi, John. Welcome. Hope you had a good Christmas. Yes, a good holiday. Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever. Festivus for the rest of us. whichever you do. Hope it was a good one. I'm just going to keep an eye on this to make sure that it's moist enough. I don't recall having made elephant ears before, so I want to make sure that the dough is not like too dry or something, or too wet. So stand here with it for a minute.
Steve's here.
We got time. Who? Steve. Hey, good evening. Paella was your request, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to get that going. Like I said, when I drew it, no seafood, but I am using a real nice chorizo and some pork tenderloin. So it should make a really nice dinner. Yeah, elephant ear dough is looking good. Let that mix for a couple of minutes.
John said that he's in the hospital with COVID.
I'm sorry?
John's in the hospital
John?
with COVID since Christmas.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. Dang, dude. You just had a bad run of luck over this last year. Yeah, I sure hope you feel better soon, man. I sure hope you feel better soon.
Steve asked how you're doing. How are you?
Who? You have to be louder because I'm
Steve.
Steve.
Said, how are you doing?
Oh, Steve, I'm doing good. Other than being a deaf old man. Okay, that's good. Now I can hear what's going on. I'll just give this a little hand mix. Is that a foreign object I feel? No. Thought I felt a foreign object.
Don't want that.
No foreign objects. All right. That's good. Let's get that. That's not the right one. We'll cover that up. And just kind of let it do its thing for the next hour or so.
Greg said Carol is still getting over the stint of COVID.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she is.
She's had a hard time starting to feel a little better, from what I understand.
Yeah.
But still pretty sick.
Eli said it was cool to see Brutus.
Yeah, it was. He is a very strong dog, but he lives pretty much on a farm.
Yep.
This guy's wife, his father owns the cattle ranch, the property just right next to him. So Brutus gets out and he gets to run and he's got plenty of room to do it. Lots of animals to play with, so he's in a really good spot. He
Yep.
really is. Okay, so I'm going to start cutting up some of these veggies and getting them ready. I got some ancho peppers here that I just want to scrape the flesh out of. I really don't want the bother with the skin. Been soaking these for a while, so they're rehydrated nicely. Should have got the seeds out, I guess, first, but
Joe said, I can't taste anything, so eat some for me, everyone.
well, I will, John.
It says, old guy, that's what she said, Tom.
Who's
Did I feel a foreign object?
fuck's sake? Oh, see what you made me do? Oh boy. Oh yeah. Here, I'll put that aside. You can see that this is cleaning out really nicely. See what you made me do, you guys.
That's what your things.
Just never do that to me.
Greg's laughing at me.
Oh boy. So last weekend I hurried the stream along and to go down into town for a little comedy gig that some folks wanted me to do at the theater just before the movie. And it was an R-rated movie, and I got there and ready to kind of do what I was going to do, standing there talking with Arthur. And yeah, you know, the only two patrons that went to go see the movie by the time it started at 7 o'clock. 2 people. Now that in itself wasn't really the problem. The problem was it was a guy and his little maybe 7 or 8-year-old
Yep.
daughter. And I don't care where I'm at. My humor does not go along with little girls. So, yeah, I just said, you know what? I'm not getting sorry, you know, and then, yeah, you know, it's like, it's just not appropriate. So I didn't get to do it. I was disappointed, but I know I made the right decision.
Yep. Steve said that he had COVID a few weeks ago for the 3rd time, kicked his ass a bit, arse a bit.
I bet. Yeah, well, luckily, this old guy and I have avoided getting really very sick at all over the last 5 or 6 years.
Yep.
I mean, I did have that stint when I almost croaked in the hospital, but that wasn't from like like a cold or a flu.
And sure.
Ed, happy Saturday. I hope you had a good holiday. I am just kind of scraping the meat out of a couple of these ancho chilies. That's going to go in with the paella. Well, I tell you,
wants you to yell paprika.
he wants me to yell.
Yes, yell out paprika.
Well, I will. But not just this second.
Lisa's here?
I've got, see, it's going in my dish here in a little while, John. So, hey, Lisa, good evening. Oh, that reminds me. You know, I guess I reminded myself. earlier I saw that you had left a comment on one of my videos, and I don't know if it's maybe because of the device that you used. I have the same thing happen with Steve. I cannot, for some reason, it won't let me reply to your comment. I see it, but I can't reply to it.
Yeah, there's no reply button.
There's no reply button for it. Same thing with Steve for some reason. Yeah, I don't know if it's the device you're using or just what, but I wanted to make you aware. I'm not avoiding commenting on your making a reply to your comments. I can't. It won't let me. That's kind of a pain.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, especially if you don't put it in the right pile after you scrape it off. Huh. Interesting. I have no idea how much of this I'm going to need. Okay, well, I have a little idea of how much I'll need. Let's rinse it out. I think this will probably be the last one. Smell good. I know you can't whiff it, and you can't whiff it, but I sure can. It smells like a dried chili.
Lisa said that's okay.
Well, I just wanted you to know. Oh, but I'll have you know that I am your one and only subscriber, Lisa. I know you didn't get it, make your channel to have content, but or if you do, I'm ahead of the game there.
Eli says he's been craving a sausage and roasted green chili pizza.
That sounds good. We have that sometimes. Only I guess it's pepperoni and sausage and green chili.
Sometimes just pepperoni and green chili.
Sometimes.
Greg wants to know what you're scraping the guts out of there.
These are dried ancho chilies. They're a mild chili pepper. These were, like I said, they were dry, so I just soaked them in water till they got soft. And I think that's about all the scrapings I'm gonna need. Set this aside. I might use some of that liquid. Okay. Oh boy. That made a nice mess. I'll wipe up some pepper juice here. Okay. So the basic ingredients on this seem pretty simple. I did notice, like I said before, when it's something I've never made, I'll look at several recipes and again, like a lot of things, there's a lot of different ways to make paella. A lot of different vegetables and different proteins. So I just kind of went with what I saw was the most common, as I normally do, and so that's kind of where I'm at with that. I'm going to finely dice some peppers and onions. Get that rocking.
Sean said he had soup that reminded him of bad breath.
Soup that reminded him of bad breath.
Yes.
Ooh. Just a few minutes ago, I was looking to see what it was I was going to fry these elephant ears in. And we found a tub of lard under our cupboard here. And I opened the top and woo! There's nothing quite like the aroma of rancid lard. I could almost taste it. It was yuck.
Greg said, don't forget to dry those seeds out and grow your own good Colorado people.
Seeds are already dried. Oh, you mean the bell peppers? They... Yeah, we don't have room to be growing much of anything.
No.
It's a very small yard that our house is on, very small lot. Some people's backyards have more room than our entire
Lot.
yeah, so it's not very big, but you know, for us it's good enough.
Our cows would trample our garden
Oh,
or eat it.
or both. Or both, right? And it's going to do half of this red one.
Ralph says, do you get elephant ear fungi over there?
Elephant ear fungus? Oh, you mean mushrooms? I don't know. I know we get elephant ear pastries at the at the bake shop, but I'm not sure about the mushrooms.
John said, don't forget to yell that out for him.
Oh, I'm not going to forget. I just haven't got to it yet. I'm just going to get through some veg dicing here. A nice, fine little dice. Don't want big chunks. Do try to keep my eyes on what I'm doing. Too many times have I discovered how painful it can be when you're not paying attention. Like another good example of not paying attention to what you're doing and the consequences. I can remember working on a cooking line at a restaurant, and you know, everything's going on. You've got your knife in front of you to, you know, cut sandwiches, whatever you're doing. And too many times when somebody would set the knife down, I would see them set it down with the edge facing them, which is a really bad idea, because all it takes is just once to move your hand over, and I've had it done. I've cut myself because of that. Across the knuckles. So if you're going to do that, put your knife down the other way, if that's where you're working. Or even if you're cutting up stuff at home, you're going to put it down, just face that edge away from you. Might save you a finger bleed.
Greg told Ralph, I sure hope they use some cotton buds to get the wax out of those dead plates.
What?
Out of the wax out of elephant ears.
Oh.
The fungi. Eli said, I made some rice today also. I made it with some Indian seasonings and put some spicy ramen chicken buldak sauce in the broth, and I will be keeping that.
Awesome. And that was Eli?
Yes.
Eli, why don't you do me a favor? If you have that written down, why don't you send it to me, email? You got it. I'd like to try it too. Sounds good.
Ralph said they are large ear-shaped fungi that grows from the sides of tree trunks.
Yeah, well, I know they've got mushrooms that are good size that grow from tree trunks. Whether or not it's the same mushroom or not, I don't know. It might be, and they might call it a different name. here. You know what I mean? I don't know enough about wild mushrooms to give any kind of informed answer. It's just the way that cookie's gonna rumble. Oh, that looks good. Just gonna get this veg finished on the chop. Then I'll get the meat out, get it started. A little fresh garlic. So, Eli, have you made paella? If so, I want you to tell me how badly I'm doing. What is it that I'm doing wrong? I want to know.
Natalie's here saying hi on her 15-minute break. She's making sloppy joes tonight after work.
Nice. Well, hi, Natalie. Again, I thank you for spending your break time. You know, that's awesome. And sloppy joes is not a bad thing. Especially, well, I don't know about you, but when I have a sloppy joe, I like a little mustard and some pickles on my sloppy joes.
Yep.
Let's get rid of the rest of that skin, shall we?
Greg said, "Oh, Di, I was worried earlier that you cut yourself when you said fudge."
Nope. Didn't cut myself. It was just a reaction to what Mrs. Old Guy said, what you said. It's all your fault, dude.
Eli says he has made it before. Chicken is his favorite kind.
Chicken? Okay. Well, have I done anything right so far? That's one of the main reasons I asked you. Because I've not made this ever.
I don't think I've ever even heard of it.
Heard of it plenty, but just never tried it. Because it was always seafood. And again, that's not something that I'm fond of. All right.
Eli said roasted hatch chilies and sloppy joes is amazing.
Oh yeah, I bet it is. Depends on how hot you like your hatch chilies, right? Because some are definitely hotter than others.
Oh yeah, those get really hot.
Yeah. All right. Let's set this aside. Haven't forgot my parsley. Got a bag here for such stuff. Gonna get this out of my way a little bit. Okay.
Greg said, "Oh, Di, darn. I have to keep that in mind. Lucky I'm in the future. Won't happen, I promise."
Well, that's that's the thing about hindsight, the past, right? You're learning from it, which is awesome. All right.
Ronald's here.
Who?
Ronald?
Hi, Ronald. Welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday. Hope you had a good Christmas. New Year's Eve tomorrow night. Mrs. Old Guy and I are going to the town just below us. They're going to have fireworks. It's early in the evening, like 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
But still, something to do, because normally we just stay right where we're at, and we don't go out, we don't do anything, just because there's too many drunk idiots out there, and
Yeah. Wild animals on the road between towns.
yeah, lots of deer and elk and turkeys and skunks, and I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
There's not a single season of year that you can go from our town to the 2 towns down and not have a dead skunk somewhere on the highway. Any time of year, it's just weird.
Lisa said Wild Man just came home, and so he said, "Hey, Tom."
Whoa, hey, wild man. Arr! All right, so there's that pork tenderloin. I got a little chorizo here. I wasn't going to use the whole pound, so a couple of nights ago, Mrs. Old Guy and I made some breakfast burritos. They were pretty good.
Yep.
And for dinner, and then lunch the next day, yesterday.
Steve said, yes, I requested this dish.
Yes, you did. You sure did. So I'm just going to roll this chorizo into some balls.
Eli said the key to making this is the crispy layer on the bottom.
Crispy layer of what?
Fine line between crispy and burned. I've burned my fair share of rice.
Because I wasn't planning on getting it crispy anywhere. I was just going to cook that rice till it's tender and good to go.
Johnny Small Peppers here.
Johnny, hey man. Happy belated Christmas. It's missed your live Christmas by that much. So glad to see you. I hope you had a good holiday. We had a nice holiday, quiet. Went out for Chinese food on Christmas Eve. Then on Christmas Day, we went and picked up my youngest son, and we were going to take him out to Chinese food in the town he's at. And yeah, that was. I'm gonna say it wasn't the worst, but pretty close to the worst Chinese food I've ever had the misfortune of tasting. It was awful. So needless to say, we didn't go to lunch with my son. We told him, we'll come back. We're going to go back maybe tomorrow and go to some place that's actually got some decent food. All right, excuse me for a second. Sorry for the back turn.
Joshua's here.
Good evening, Joshua. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Wasn't too bad here. I said a few minutes ago, I was talking about the fact that I was invited to do some stand-up comedy down at the local theater, but it was supposed to be adults only, but this guy brought his 10-year-old daughter, 9, 10, 8, around there. And I wasn't about to do my comedy in front of that little girl. Sorry. So next time around, a little salt on these medallions here.
Ralph said, did you hear about the lady in Aussie who got charged for cooking her dinner guest a meal which contained some death cap mushrooms?
Death cap mushrooms. Nice. Well, it doesn't sound like a very nice lady. Alright.
Lisa said she's going to Tim's tomorrow night for a little party.
Nice. Woo!
And Steve said to get the last request before the new year is quite the honor.
Well, that's just how it turned out. Look at the draw, right?
Yep. Johnny said, yeah, bad Chinese.
Oh, it was terrible. Well, my wife and my son ordered a chicken dish. I ordered a beef lo mein. It had no, how do I explain? It's like the only thing they did to season it was just dump a bottle of soy sauce on it. And even then, it wasn't enough. for my dish. It wasn't good at all. But my wife's dish and my son's dish, the chicken, it was absolutely spoiled, slimy, disgusting chicken that had been cooked and covered with their sauce.
Yep.
And it tasted, I'm just going to say, it tasted like somebody's ass. It was just nasty. Not that I would ever know what that would taste like, but I would imagine that's what it would taste like. How's that?
Joshua said he had a good Christmas. He says, how's the weather been?
Oh, looking beautiful.
Did you hear that?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Joshua said that he had a good Christmas, and he asked how the weather's been.
Ah, good. Well, it's been kind of a mixed bag this week. We got snow last Saturday. Pretty good little snow. We got maybe 8 inches or so. So we had snow on Christmas, and then ever since then it's been slowly kind of warming up in the day. It was in the low 40s
Yep.
today. Yesterday was like just barely breaking over 30, and so we got a few days of warmer weather coming to us. How about you? How's things going in your part of the country? Plenty of sunshine and warm, I would suppose.
Eli says they usually let the bottom layer of rice crisp up. It's a pretty magical layer.
Pretty magical layer.
Yep. Let it sit there and cook and crisp up.
Well, I'm going to try it. No results are going to be guaranteed, but I will try it.
Johnny said, good for you, old guy, stand your ground.
Got to at some point. Just got to.
Grace says, not sure everyone will get what I was saying about the Chinese meal.
What? Something about a cat?
Let me find it. I guess I missed it.
Yeah, let's get
Oh,
these.
Grace says it was a succulent Chinese meal.
Oh, yeah. Succulent is right. But there was no argument or anything given.
No.
We each took our bite or two out of our plates. I kind of pushed them all three over to the edge of the table. Lady came up. Yeah, these are terrible. And so she told our server. She came, picked up all 3 plates, and when she picked up the 3 plates, she put 3 fortune cookies down, and that was it. So, no argument, no nothing. Just, here, you can go. And we did. All right, let's get some veggies.
Greg says, okay, I have to link this. Hopefully this makes some sense. And then Ralph says, I think chat blocks the link, but it's okay.
Link for what?
I don't know. Some Chinese food, I think. Eli said, no worries, OG. Paella or whatever it is a pretty hard dish to get right. It's hard to know when the bottom layer is crisp versus burnt.
Got a bowl. Let a ball get away. Well, I'm willing to give it my best shot.
Try it.
I'll try and see what happens. You never know. Maybe I'll hit that magic on the first try. I've done it before. Not with this, but with other dishes. So, kind of been on that spot. Get these veggies softened up a little bit. Throw in some salt and a little pepper.
Eli said, dads in Spain are always in competition with each other over who makes the best paella or whatever.
Paella.
Kind of like dads do here with who makes the best barbecue.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't know that. I did not
Greg
know
said
that.
what he was talking about is a big Aussie meme. T-shirts are made of it.
Made out of what?
The meme that he was talking about.
A little bit of black pepper, freshly cracked, is always good.
I did talk to Carol earlier. She did say to tell everybody hi.
Yep, she did. She is, like I mentioned, starting to feel a little better. Still far from being sick. Far from being well, but feeling better. All right. Well, so far, let's crank that up a little bit more. So far, I think I'm okay. I'll have to add this stuff in here in a minute. Dice up a tomato or two. Yes.
Steve wants to know what meat you're doing for this fish.
Chorizo and pork tenderloin. Figured, why not? I really like chorizo, so it was just another excuse to use it. This little guy and I made breakfast burritos with the rest of it.
Yeah. He likes those house stuff.
They're doing well.
Sleeping.
Yeah. It's the wintertime drearies for them. Just because they can't go out, it's not nice. They don't go out. When they do, they don't stay out for long. Well, that looks really good. Throw these tomatoes in. We can leach a little bit of their liquid.
He's got a fantastic choice for the meat.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'll put a nice big squeeze of some tomato paste. That's probably a tablespoon or so. Everything's smelling good.
Yeah.
Alright. Just throw these ancho chilies in there.
Greg said, from what I've seen, the moo-moos love the snow.
From what you, again?
From what he has seen, the moo-moos love the snow.
Ah,
They
they
do. When they
do.
go on their walk.
Yeah. Well, they go along and just eat it like a snow cone.
Yeah.
It's fun watching them. Polly really likes to get her face down in it and rub it around. All right, where's my rice? Right here, just a cup of rice. That mixed in. Couple of cups of chicken stock.
Ralph says he's got fleas at the moment. That's unfortunate.
Ralph has fleas?
What he said.
Buddy, how'd you get yourself fleas? All right, I'll do a little bit of this parsley. Just a quick little chop. In we go. Put in, are you ready, John? Paprika. Let's go probably about 2 teaspoons. It's all guesswork. It's all guesswork, folks. Got my veg here. I should put this away here in a second. Boink. can't mess around too much here. Got to put in some saffron. Haven't got saffron for a really long time for obvious reasons. For those of you that do not know, saffron is the most expensive spice spice on the planet, coming in at around $10,000 a pound.
Yep.
So I got this little bag here. Oh, fortunate.
A Ziploc?
A little Ziploc.
Cool. Ralph said he was trying to deflea the neighbor's dog, and they decided to get him instead. Was wondering if there was anywhere that sells flea tablets for humans.
Don't know.
I don't have any idea.
Well, you don't need a lot of saffron. Trying to just kind of guesstimate what's going to be about an eighth of a pinch. A pinch of this would be about half the pack.
Yep.
I'm not going to do that.
Greg says the most expensive product in the world.
It is. All right, we got saffron going. Turn this down. Put that meat back in. Give a little stir. Everything's covered. All right. Let's see here. Well, Eli, based on my years and years and experience of making paella, I'm going to set the timer for 35 minutes. You'll be surprised if it turns out at all. All right.
Scott's here.
Scott.
Hope you're all doing well. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year. Yes, yes. It's going to be a good year, I think. 2024. 2023 was up. It was all right. wasn't my favorite year, but it wasn't my worst year. Don't need that.
Ralph said that they applied Frontline to her twice, but it didn't work either time, so they shampooed her, and now they're hoping that will work.
Yeah, getting rid of fleas can be a real pain.
Yeah, you gotta spray everything in your house also.
Yep. We had fleas in this house we lived in Texas many years ago. Ugh.
Yep, our dog that we picked up when somebody had them.
Yep. And the whole house. We sit there at our computers, and then we look down at our legs, and they're all chewed up,
Yep.
all in the carpet, and just everywhere. It's like, no.
Yep. So it took a while, and you gotta keep spraying.
Yep. Yeah, it's not going to cure it. It's not a one-time cure. That's for sure.
No.
Okay.
Eli says, how was last week's BLT?
They were delicious.
Yeah.
They were delicious. I used probably pretty close to half of a pack on my sandwich. So, yeah, it was delicious. And today was National Bacon Day, so I got to eat another nice big, handful of bacon. So, yum.
Johnny's listening.
Ah, Johnny, that's good. I really appreciate it. As a matter of fact, Miss Solgay, do me a favor and throw Johnny's link up there for me. If none of you guys have ever checked out Johnny Small Pepper, I don't know. The guy just has a kind of a certain magnetism to him that draws you into to watch him and listen to what he has to say. It's very articulate. He eats, of course, because of the name, he eats peppers, but the way he, kind of goes through his experience and what's happening to him when he eats these peppers, it's pretty enjoyable. So, check out Johnny's channel. Yep, there's a link.
Yep.
Go do that for me, if you would, please. All right.
Craig says, don't get me started on the way you have your bacon.
On the way I have my what?
The way you have your bacon.
Oh, on the way I have my bacon. I'm telling you, Mr. Man in the future told me that he had some soft, floppy bacon. And I told him that that's against the law in America. In America, you eat your bacon crisp or you're going to jail, son.
Joshua says he's kind of like you with the bacon.
That bacon's got to be crispy and crunchy. Floppy, soft, nasty, greasy bacon. Why? Cook it that extra minute.
Eli said a free bacon cheeseburger from BK today when you spend $1. Too bad it's an hour and a half away.
Yeah, BKs are, hour and a half away. If I wanted to go to a Firehouse Sub, that's about a 5-hour drive. One way. There's nothing here. There's nothing here.
Scott says that all this talk about bacon reminds me of the Office episode where Michael burns his foot cooking bacon.
Love bacon.
Greg said Johnny's awesome.
So, let me ask you something. Eli, am I supposed to stir this at any time? Is that ever a thing? You stir your paella a little bit?
Scott wants to know, do you cook your bacon in the oven?
Occasionally. Most of the time, just fry it up in the pan. Now, if I'm going to do something like bacon shell breakfast tacos, in the oven. But, yeah, mostly pan. And if you have never had a bacon shell breakfast taco, man, oh man, you're missing out.
Yeah, that's good.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Just weave you some bacon together, right? Put it in the oven and bake it till it's, what bacon looks like when it's going to be crispy, but for that minute or two, it's still soft. So you get it out of the oven, you lay it across something that's going to give you your basic V taco shape, right? Put you in some scrambled eggs and some cheese, some jalapenos, maybe just some nice little pico de gallo on there. Oh yeah. For me, some hash browns. Yeah, killer breakfast tacos. Just delicious.
Greg says, I like to see the heart beating still.
Do ya? You like it fresh, do ya? I don't know. I'm still waiting for
Eli's answer.
Yes, it's one of those things that I need to know. And I brought my pancake turner over here. And if this is going to work out to where I get a crispy bottom, I'm going to need this to get it off with. So
Eli says, where do you start on the straight baked tray of bacon versus a curly pan stovetop bacon?
now that doesn't answer my question. You can't answer a question with another question, Eli. I'm not going to answer that till you answer my question about how long you think I should cook this paella.
He says you usually try not to stir
Okay.
after you add the rice.
Okay. So just don't touch it, is what you're saying.
Yes.
All right. All right. So we'll see about the time.
So now answer his question.
What was his question?
Where do you stand on the straight baked tray bacon versus the curly pan?
Where do I stand on it?
Top bacon.
I stand on the fact that I'll eat either one. You know, I've done both, both at work and at home. So, except for, you know, I never cooked pan bacon when I was working at a restaurant. It was always done on a sheet pan in the oven. But,
Yep.
you know, I do it here, and it just depends on what I'm doing. You know, if I want to cook a whole bunch of bacon at once and whatnot, like Pops Off the Clown a couple years ago when I was doing candy corn covered bacon. You know, that was definitely on a cookie sheet.
Yep.
Oh man, that was so good. No, that's it. All right. Well, I'm gonna sit down then. We got a few minutes before things are gonna be done. How's this looking? Dough's raising.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? It's got yeast in it. Yes, yes, yes. So fireworks for us on the horizon for tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Should be fun. I like to go out to watch fireworks displays, and I'm hoping this time it will be less of a hassle, I suppose. Sometimes when we've gone to the big fireworks displays for the 4th of July, there's so many people that it just trying to drive away can take, you know, there's times where it took over an hour
Yep.
just to get out of the parking lot where we were at. You know, so at what point does it become not worth it? Huh?
Luckily, this town's not as big.
Yeah, it's not as big, but just not as big means not as much room means it can still get filled up and congested.
But we can stay on the outskirts of town and be good.
Yeah, true. They're true. The hill they're gonna shoot them off a hilltop
Yep.
above town. So if we kind of go back a little bit, we could probably see them. So we'll see. We'll see. That's what we're going for.
And we don't see fireworks too often because on the 4th of July they're like an hour away from us.
Yeah, and like I was saying, it's that big,
Yep.
huge crowd that I'm not going to deal with. So
Eli said you would be surprised how many people don't like curly pan cooked bacon.
doesn't bother me. It's if it's crispy, I'm good. I'm good. There's a fine line, right, between just being soft and being burnt. It's not a there's not a big margin of error there. You know, you got to be pretty practiced at browning your bacon to know exactly when to pull it out of the pan without burning it, and yet get it just as crispy as you can. The hardest one are the really lean bacons,
Yep.
almost ham. They're so
Yeah.
lean. That's the kind Mrs. Oakeye likes because she's not a real big fan of the fat, but it's really difficult to get that type of bacon crispy without burning it. So,
Joshua says, why don't you sit for a spell? And Greg says, yeah, take a load off, sir. And madam, I'm already sitting. I always sit.
that's right. She's at the control panel. She sits comfortably. She's got this like fully automatic, remote controlled, air suspended, like really cushiony chair can do all kinds of things like roll, all different stuff. So simulations. Not really. She's sitting in a chair just like this one.
Eli says, I would suggest you give it a stir since you are not using a paella pan.
Well, what's the difference? Really, come on. What is so special about a paella pan? I gotta know. I mean, really, what does a paella pan do that this one can't? This is now I gotta know. I didn't know there's such a thing as a paella pan.
Ralph says he's heading to friend's place with Mom for a bottle of Grapister. Steve says there is a
enjoy the beverage, huh?
Steve said there is a sale at my local shop on the 10th for 10 pounds of bacon for $15.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, it is.
I'd jump on that big time. And then I'd be gone in like 2 days. And I'd be sick.
Johnny says the older I get, the less I like crowds.
Yeah, same here. I used to love to go to like concerts. I mean, in my younger days and whatnot. I mean, I've probably been to well over 250 concerts. But yeah, after a while, the crowd scene is just not what I'm after.
Ralph says he's still enjoying the tasty seaweed snacks that he brought.
Seaweed snacks?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not fond of seaweed snacks. I'm not fond of squid snacks. One of Mrs. Old Guy's friends sent me some honey-coated squid snacks. And when you first put them in, when you first put them in your mouth, they were very sweet, very tasty, had a little bit of a kind of a salty soy flavor. And then as soon as you started chewing it, that nasty, disgusting, salty, sea-watery, leathery. Yeah. No, I'm just not. The seafood is just not my thing. Squid, I've had calamari a few times, and it was all right. But boy, it's got to be cooked right. Undercooked and overcooked calamari is just disgusting. It's like chewing a fish rubber band.
Greg says it's called skill, cooking bacon to the right point.
Well, yeah, you can call it, but I'm not listening to any cooking tips from you at all, Mr. Man in the future. Nope. You talked me into the worst way you could crack an egg. Not the new way.
Greg says, told Johnny, you missed Tom making a Furby earlier in the session. It's my fault. I will never live it down.
Yep. He got an F-bomb out of me. It was just a little one. It wasn't like really loud. It was just a little under my breath kind of. It was one of those she said things. And it kind of cracked me up.
So Eli said the pan for cooking these are slightly concave, round griddles, so that the rice cooks in an extended layer.
Oh, well. Now you tell me. Like almost 20 minutes later. No, it's okay. Actually, that's looking good. I'm not going to touch it. It looks just fine. It looks actually really good.
Greg says, so
Yum.
this guy in the future, in 8 hours, is being picked up with a workmate to watch the fireworks.
Nice. Yeah, I remember when I was in Germany, my first year there, I was really surprised that they would use fireworks on New Year's Eve. I'd never seen it before. You know, the only times I ever saw fireworks used for a celebration was 4th of July. But I'm, some little skinny little cheese knob from Colorado. What do I know? You know? I was surprised and happy, of course, to see fireworks, pop bottle rockets, same kind of stuff we have. Except for some of the fireworks, firecrackers that they had. They were probably pretty close to 3 inches square. This wrapped twine, it was a little box, about 3 inches square. A firecracker, and it was bigger than an M80 for those of you that remember the real M80s. Anyway, a soda machine in our barracks. It had 5 selections, 3 sodas and 2 beers, and this guy put his last little bit of change in to get a beer, and it ripped him off. The machine ripped him off. He was upset. So he grabbed he had 3 or 4 of these firecrackers, and he grabbed one, he lit it, and he shoved it up the chute where the pop comes out, where your soda or beer comes out. Didn't blow the door off, but it sure jacked it up. It blew it out on the top and bottom corners, and every can of whatever was in there just went everywhere. But yeah, it was, it wasn't a smart move, obviously. I mean, it was just a destructive thing to do, but it just kind of show you the power of some of them firecrackers.
Sergeant Dunn.
Sergeant Dunn, wow. It has been a while since I've seen you. Welcome. I hope things are going well. I hope you had a good last year. We're coming up to the end of the year. Grab yourself a beer or soda, whatever you like, out of the fridge. Have a seat. We got paella going to be served up here shortly, and making some elephant ears dessert. So, yeah, welcome. Hope things are well.
Eli says, I want to see Greg de-yolk an egg.
De-yolk an egg. Yeah, Greg. Should I tell them that story? The folks that maybe do not know. When I was getting ready to open my restaurant, and there's kind of 2 parts to this. The kitchen was really, really narrow. I mean, like from here to here, and that's without an oven door open or something else. It was a very narrow kitchen. And I had this gal, I put out a little ad in the paper looking for somebody with some baking experience. And so this gal shows up, and I tell her, okay, we're going to make some cheesecake. I need you to de-yolk. Told her I need you to separate a dozen eggs so we can get this going. And so she did a couple other things that I instructed her, and then she says, did you say you wanted these eggs de-yolked? And that right there pretty much told me that her baking experience probably wasn't much more than grabbing a box of Betty Crocker from the shelf and using that. But so she messed up a couple of things, and it was like, well, it's not going to work out. And so she went on her way, and I was finishing up with the cheesecake. I was making individual size cheesecake, so it was a real pain in the butt with the paper and the graham cracker crust on the bottom and everything. It took forever to get them made, but I finally got them made, and I think I had like 56 of them or so. And like I said, my kitchen was very small, so the only place I had to cool them off was the top of this rack over in the dish area. It wasn't dirty. There was no dirty dishes or anything. But, you know, they were up on the top rack, and they were just fine. I had a dishwasher come in. I was prepping a ton of stuff, so I did have a lot of pots and pans. And so he was cleaning stuff up, and I didn't say anything to him. I just assumed that he would ask or just not even mess with them. But he took it upon himself. He saw these racks, my pans of individually made cheesecakes, and he dumped them into the trash to wash the pans. It was like, oh no! But it was my fault. It was my fault. You know, and I told him, I said, but next time, if something like that, you see something like that, ask first. It was a lot of work and a lot of product right down the drain.
Yep. Greg says, gosh, if Tom could actually call himself a professional egg cracker. It's not safe for eggs' sake.
I'm telling you what. Greg, if we ever meet in person, I would be very careful if you see me with eggs. Oh boy, it would have been sure fun to get to Australia. And that, you know, may be a thing that still could happen. Still could be a thing. I've always wanted to check out a few things that I've, you know, of course the touristy things that you see on TV. But you know, having spent the 3 years that I did in Europe when I was in the military, you know, it was like, wow, you know, things are way different here, and I would sure like to see how things are different there, on top of being able to check everything out. So,
Yep.
you know, that's kind of how that goes, right? That's why people travel.
Scott said she was trying to fake it until she makes it. That de-yolker.
Until she makes the automatic egg de-yolker.
Greg says, mate, be very careful. I have a pet emu.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm sorry, that doesn't scare me. Oh, I've had some crazy not 4th of July, but New Year's Eves, and some pretty crappy ones too. A couple of them in the military just were not any good. The first one that I can remember, I drew guard duty that night, so spent, you know, you go on 3-hour shifts, 3 hours on and a couple hours off. And anyway, walking around the motor pool, guarding military vehicles that nobody's gonna mess with because it's too freaking cold. Yeah, that New Year's Eve wasn't very fun at all. And the subsequent New Year's, although I wasn't on guard duty, it still didn't turn out to be a very good evening. Went to the Enlisted Man's Club, of course, to have a few drinks, and a big giant fight started. I mean, they tore that place up. They had, you know, a whole bunch of MPs, and yeah, it was a pretty bad scene. I left as soon as trouble broke out. I was like, I was out of there. But yeah, they tore the place to pieces. It was 6 months before they had it back open. That, it took them that long to repair all the damage and put everything back together. They tore it up. So, and they didn't have New Year's Eve celebrations there anymore. After that, they closed the Enlisted Man's Club on New Year's Eve. I wonder why.
Greg says, "Oh, guy, when you see this egg, you will, because the egg in your isn't an egg sunshine."
Okay. I don't understand any of that.
I don't know either.
But monkey high wire banana tension.
Ralph, as kids, we used to enjoy drawing faces on empty eggshells and plant chives in them, so it looks like hair. Then you can give the egg a person a haircut to use the chives in them.
Yeah, I could, but I'm not going to.
It's a good idea for kids.
I didn't, there's something that I neglected to do, and I'm surprised that Mrs. Old Guy didn't say anything. And that's okay, because it's not your job. But I normally ask what you guys are having for dinner.
Yeah. Natalie told you.
Yeah, Natalie did, but... So what are you guys having? Brother? Doug? What are you having? Come on, guys.
By the way, Natalie
Have
says
to
I hope
ask.
everyone will have a happy New Year.
Well, I hope everybody has a happy New Year, too, and I hope you do. Absolutely. I hope it's a safe, happy New Year. Absolutely. And if you're celebrating, I hope things go well and things are safe.
Greg says, "Oh my God, I've got an emu. You egg versus your chicken egg. Do the math. Emu egg versus chicken egg."
Well, yeah, I understand that emu eggs are substantially larger. And so are ostrich eggs, but in fact, I think an ostrich egg is equal to about a dozen chicken eggs.
Eli asked Greg how dangerous it was to camp in the bush in Australia.
I don't got any bush in Australia. It's just one big open burnt desert. Isn't that right? It's drier than a dead dingo's donga.
And then he wants to know what's the most dangerous animal in New Zealand.
Oh, there's a bunch of them. Wait, in New Zealand?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of like all the dangerous creatures that are in New Zealand. I've heard a bunch about dangerous creatures in Australia. Bunch of things that'll bite you and make you go dead.
Steve said they had ramen and a PB&J.
Ramen and a PB&J?
Yep.
Cool.
Greg said, "Gosh, me, emu egg, you little chicken egg." Now we're talking.
Okay. Yeah.
Lisa had ham and eggs.
Ham and eggs, yum. Ham and eggs is not a bad dinner at all.
No.
We got about 3 minutes left. It's looking good. I don't think I have anything crispy on the bottom. But it smells really nice, and I'll be scooping some up here in about 3 minutes or so. Yeah.
Ralph said, "Eli, we do sometimes get some sharks, but they are rare and never come close to shore."
Well, that's good.
Yep. Greg said, "Old guy, flat out like a lizard drinking plenty of bush, big man. I'm the most dangerous animal after Moby went to sleep."
He's the most dangerous animal in Australia?
I'm the most dangerous animal after Moby went to sleep.
Okay, well, wow. I guess I'll have to keep well away from you. I mean, at least, 8-10 paces back so that I can run. Yep, there's my brother. getting to know what he had for his dinner. See, you guys never tell me. I have to beg it out of
I do.
you. Why do you do that to me? Make me beg. Make me beg. 2 minutes on the clock, guys. 2 minutes left.
Okay. Okay. I
All
will
right.
let him know and he'll be jealous.
Oh, French dip again.
Okay. Bye. Yep, Happy New Year. Bye.
Well,
Yeah, he went out with family
uh-huh.
and he had a prime rib French dip sandwich for a late lunch, and they're just snatching on stuff tonight.
Well, I love French dip. And I went and got one at the local.
One fell out on the table, but it's on this side, it's small.
We went to our local barbecue place. They have a brisket French dip.
Yep.
Usually it's really good. Last time it was not good, which is really unfortunate. I don't know if they had a new cook or what. But what have we got coming up here? Oh, I grabbed two, so I'm just going to go with the first one that was on the top. They must have been folded in together. Okay, this one was from Don. Cincinnati chili. So Cincinnati chili coming up in 2 weeks. Next weekend is chili dogs, I think.
It is chili cheese dogs.
Chili cheese dogs
John.
from John. And here you go, Mrs. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We've got 36 seconds left, so let me grab a food container. Grab a couple of forks. I'll scoop out a bowl. Do you guys want to see it in a bowl, or do you want to see the pan? What do you want? You tell me. 12 seconds. I'm going to let it go the whole time. Why not, right?
Lisa said Wildman and Tim had barbecue night. Made a sandwich. Or barbecue night something sandwich. I can't see because it hurts. Unfortunately.
All right. Oh,
It smells really good.
it does. Let me put this over here. Kind of out of the way. Let you guys take a look.
Oh, they had a barbecue nightmare sandwich.
Oh, barbecue nightmare sandwich, huh? Can you see in there, Mrs. Old Guy?
Kind of.
Kind
Hold
of.
it down.
Better?
That's better.
You guys see that? Smells really good.
Yeah, it does.
I guess we're going to scoop some out. I'm going to eat some, and then we'll roll out and cook up some of these elephant ears.
Steve says this should make it for a good leftovers.
It's a little stuck on the bottom, but it's not like crispied onto the bottom.
Eli said it looks good.
I don't know how much you want, Mrs. Old Guy.
I'll start with that. Thank you.
Okay.
And Greg says, Steve, I better go if it's not devoured.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I try not to, although it's so, I was going to say I try not to, like, overeat, especially in the evenings, but I always overeat. And I pay a price for hours and hours. Little salt, little salt. Here we go.
Greg says, how do you put such big ears in that pot?
I know, right? You got to cut them down to size.
Joshua says, so not burnt? Good. Oh, well.
Nope, not burnt. It's got a nice flavor. Those chilies make a difference.
Yeah. It's good.
It is. It's really good.
Steve said I would eat it all.
For me the best way to describe the flavors that I'm getting is, it's like a super beefed up Mexican rice.
Yeah.
It's delicious. Gonna try a bite with some of that sausage.
It's really hot.
Yeah, it just came off the burner. You know, I'm surprised I didn't burn the food because they call them burners. Actually, they call them cookers, right? Is that what you call them over there in the future?
Eli said, what was the worst pizza you've ever had?
The worst pizza?
Yeah.
That's easy. There's an amusement park in Denver called Elitch Gardens. They have a new place, but many years ago, they had been in the same location for like 70 years or something. So it was a really beautiful place. But I stopped in one of those there to get some food at one of their concessions. First of all, I was kind of angry because if you wanted cheese on your pizza at all, it was an extra charge. In other words, the pizza they would sell you for the minimum price was crust with sauce. No cheese at all. It was an upcharge for that. They were super busy. It took forever. Finally got my pizza. Sat down at the table. The crust had been made with about 100 times too much yeast. It was like eating a yeast cake. It was just awful. The tomato sauce, that's all it was a can of tomato sauce dumped onto a crust that had no seasonings whatsoever, no salt, nothing. It was just tomato paste. And it wasn't real cheese. It was fake mozzarella cheese. So it didn't melt right, it didn't pull right, and it didn't taste right. That was the worst pizza I've bought now. You know,
We had a pretty bad one in California, though.
yeah, that's true. That's true. We had a barbecued chicken pizza
That was terrible.
at not Elitch's. It was at Knott's Berry Farm. That was terrible.
Greg says, Eli, upside down pineapple pizza. And then he says, Eli with cracked eggs.
Wow. This is really good with that sausage. The pork is good too. It really picked up the flavors, but so far I think I like the chorizo best.
Greg said, old guy, no, we call it a stove. The massage food with the warmth of our love. And he says, I want to go to a pizza joint and make a YouTube video. Amazing views right there.
Well, do it.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do is do it. A man's got to do what a man's got to do. Sometimes it takes a while, but a man's got to do what a man's got to do.
And Greg said, was it behind one of the depositories?
was what behind one of the depositories? I think he forgets that he's in the future. He already knows the answer to these. I'm stuck back here in the past, oblivious and an idiot. So, I mean, he already knew that this paella turned out delicious.
The pizza place you were talking about.
Oh, where I got the pizza. Yep. Okay. I think what would be even a harder question, because answering the question of what was the worst pizza you've ever had was easy. The more difficult answer would be, what was the best pizza? The best pizza that I've ever had. That one would be a lot harder to decide.
Lisa said, Wild Man is going to make pork ribs and sauerkraut on New Year's Day. Yum. My mom used to make that.
Yeah, this old guy's real fond of sauerkraut.
Yep.
I, on the other hand, not so much. Which is kind of weird. Because I like sauerbraten. For those of you that do not know what sauerbraten is, it's a soured roast beef. It's either they've either used citric juice like lemon or vinegar. I've had it both ways. I like it better with the citrus, but you'd figure if I liked that, I would like the kraut too. But I just don't like it.
Steve wants to know, any plans for tomorrow?
We're gonna go watch fireworks down the road. It's gonna start at 7 p.m. So not late. And I think that's it.
Yep.
We're coming home.
Stanley's here. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, thanks, Stanley.
Had holiday dinner for my nephew going back to trade school on Tuesday. Sure, I'm proud of him.
Wow, awesome. Well, hey, happy Saturday. Happy New Year. I hope you had a great Christmas. It was a good Christmas. It wasn't, it was mostly quiet Christmas.
Yep, it was. Ralph says, been to any food places that been to any food places so bad that it sent you to the throne?
Mm-hmm. Yep, they went to, boy, going back quite a ways on this one. I was in my early 20s. Went to this Mexican place up the road from me. Ordered up the combo dinner. I don't remember exactly what it was, but didn't stay down long enough for me to even stand up from the table. It was rice and beans and I remember that, but I don't remember if it was like enchiladas or a burrito or just what. But yep, didn't even make it up from the table.
Greg says, old guy, everything has citric acid.
I'm not Val.
Eli said, beer brat with mustard, kraut, and grilled onions. Yum.
Yeah, I could go for that, except for the kraut. The grilled onions, the brat, the whole, sounds great. Man, I could easily eat another bowl of that. That's really good.
Steve said, when did fireworks start to be a New Year's tradition?
Boy, long time ago, I believe it would probably start with the Chinese. Google it.
And let us know.
Yeah. bowl's going to remain out because after the stream is over, I'm having another dish. This is really good.
It is good. Really good.
All right. So we got our dough. The dough is really, it smells wonderful. So we're going to make some elephant ears. A little flour here.
Jordan's here.
Hey, Jordan. Happy New Year. Hope you had a good Christmas as well.
She said Happy New Year.
I'm just going to pull these off in some little balls here. I'm not going to make a ton of them right now. Maybe 4. That looks good. The rest of this can just kind of sit in here for now. Get these rolled out really nice and thin. And I suppose it would help if I put some heat on the bottom side of that oil.
Steve said I don't do fireworks, but I realize on my blog has been doing them for the past few years.
Yep. Yeah, there's a guy in town here that he usually has some kind of celebration at his house, and he'll shoot off a few mortars right at midnight. But
He works at midnight, sometimes it's earlier.
yeah, sometimes he is a little exuberant with his alcohol consumption. But he usually has like different stew of some sort. Sometimes it's bear stew, sometimes it's regular stew, sometimes it's elk, sometimes it's venison. It just depends.
Eli says it's interesting how in Japan it's a tradition now to eat KFC
Is it?
for New Year's.
Well, that's cool. Oh.
Greg said the annual fireworks show began in 1976 and has blossomed. Was that hot?
Mm-hmm. No. I just like to make odd noises when I eat. That's really good. Delish.
Ralph told Eli that he just found out about that a few weeks ago. There's a Japanese dude that goes to weekly dog meat.
Where is
My what?
looking for my candy thermometer? Because I'm just not sure my electric one goes up that high. Let me see what it says here. Oh, yeah, it should be okay. I'm going to make sure that I got hot enough oil. They don't fry very good if it's not hot.
Greg says that is Australia, so
I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles.
in the annual fireworks started in '76.
So I got just some cinnamon and sugar here. I guess for some reason people think that elephant ears taste like cinnamon.
Stanley said noise-making at fireworks on New Year's Eve is believed to have originated in ancient times when noise and fire were thought to dispel evil spirits and bring good luck.
Learn something new every day. I can't, that's an exaggeration. I don't learn something new every day. But once in a while, I learn something new.
Greg told Eli, LOL, in Japan you have to pre-book your KFC pizza. The guy said that it was because the chicken is the closest thing they have to turkey over there.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, that is.
I'm gonna roll these out. And these are pretty thin. Don't know how thin to tell you it is, other than pretty thin. Better than ugly thin. Go too thin with it and it gets ugly. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Mrs. Old Guy, you should see the look on her face right now. How hot is this oil?
Hey Tom, every day you learn something with me. I have to promise, if you like it or not, Greg said.
Oh boy, we are almost up to frying temperature. How about that?
Hey.
Woohoo! Alright, let me turn this temperature down. I don't want it to continue to get hot. Here we go. Let's get this first one cooked.
Greg says, or if I like it or not.
Like I said, it's very, very similar to fry bread. Could have been a little bit hotter, I think. Puffing up nicely. Flip it over here in a second. We'll get both sides. Alright, well, I'll let that thing cook for a minute. Start rolling another one out. Turn that temperature back up a little bit. I don't really like to cook with oil on the stovetop like that. But I didn't feel like changing the oil on the fabulous, fantastic 5-oil fryer. Which, of course, is exactly what I would have had to do. And I didn't want to do it, so I didn't. And now I'm suffering the consequence.
Do you have something ready to drain that on?
Uh-huh. Right here. Come on.
Eli says, I've always wondered how
Stop folding it.
how gamey elephant ears are.
I've never wondered that ever. Just saying. You know, I mean, I'm glad that you did. Somebody has to. But
Steve wants to know the closest restaurant to us.
actual restaurant? Well, I guess there's one like 10 miles from us, but
Yeah.
it's just not a very good restaurant. And it's only open for breakfast and lunch, and neither one is very good.
Greg says, old guy, the fur. And then he told Eli, very elephant Then he says, Eli, a taste to behold.
Just a second here to catch the big part of that drip. Alright.
Steve said, sorry here.
Into the cinnamon sugar.
Yeah, we don't got very good restaurants around us, Steve, really.
No.
And not very many.
Nope. Got to go out of town to really get anything worth, I mean, out of our town. Just, down the road.
Away.
About an hour, 45 minutes. Okay, they should cook a lot quicker now.
Not scared Polly should jump. What was that little girl?
Yeah, this will cook a lot quicker. Yeah, I want these nice and golden brown. Should be pretty good. Boy, that was a greasy job right there. Then again, it is a greasy dessert. Yeah. Crisping up nicely. That was kind of a bad idea to toss that in there.
Uh-oh.
Just because it dropped a bunch of oil. So I'll just sprinkle it on, I think. I am a sprinkler. There we go.
Our son works at a place that they sell a 50-50 burger. It's half hamburger and half bacon. I want to try that.
Me too.
That sounds good.
Let's see if I can get a little bit of more oil out of there.
Eli said the best food is OG's kitchen.
You're doggone right. Okay, let's just do it that way.
Greg said, Steve, yeah, Steve. Colorado family is right up the mountains. Be careful ordering mountain oysters.
Yeah. If you gotta wonder what kind of oysters you're gonna find in the mountains, you probably shouldn't order it. Whoa, look at that. You see that growing? Get down there.
Ralph said our mall has a food court with a big selection of different food outlets. Anything from sushi, curry, McDonald's, etc.
Yep.
Our malls have the same fast food type
Yep.
foods.
It's just there's no malls around us. We
an hour and a half away.
Yeah, hour and a half to at least minimum.
Steve said, "LOL, true, Greg. Insane that people eat those
Eat what?
mountain oysters."
Yuck.
Eli says nothing like freshly shucked mountain oyster.
Shucked.
Steve said, never had normal raw oysters. Are they worth it?
I don't think so, but I'm not a fan of seafood, and I actually despise raw oysters. In my 1,000 sub video, I think pretty well affirmed that. All right, one more, and I'll shut this oil off. Actually, shut it off now.
Ralph said, at least for the mountains around you, it would be good for foraging.
What would be good for foraging?
Foraging with the mountains around us.
Oh, yeah. we got to, if it came down to it and we needed to find food, there's plenty of it
yeah.
around here.
There is.
We got wild fruit trees and plants that grow all over the place. Got turkeys and deer, rabbits. There's all kinds of food up here.
Greg said, old guy, well, being Greg Bourdin. I might have to try it once. I'm not that way inclined, but maybe actually you should have made Val eat a mountain oyster.
Val has had plenty of Rocky Mountain oysters, I'm sure. It's not super uncommon, especially this part of the country. Oh, there it is.
He said, do you guys hunt for morel mushrooms?
Morel? I don't. There are people here that do. Absolutely, they do grow here.
Yep. Eli says, I think Val likes mountain oysters.
A lot of people do. There's nothing wrong with liking them. I just happen to be one that doesn't care for them that much. All right.
Ralph said, do you have community gardens and orchards?
Not here.
Community gardens in the road, down the road, but not really orchards.
What'd I do with my cinnamon sugar right there? Forgot to do one.
Uh-oh. Greg's laughing at you.
Yeah, I need to be laughed at.
He says, I'm not saying anything.
Don't. Just don't.
He'll laugh at you.
That's okay. You laugh away, funny boy. All right. Let's look at one of these.
Yep, looks good.
A little closer.
Looks just fine. Yum.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome, I suppose.
I suppose.
All right.
Greg says, okay, Dad.
I'm going to eat this first one that's all greasy.
Greasy. Amazing.
Yep, tastes exactly what it looks like. Cinnamon sugar fry bread, pretty much. It's good. Yummy. Crispy. Crunchy, but it also has some chew to it.
Yep. Really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not too bad. Yes, yes, yes.
Ralph said, we have lots of community gardens and orchards, but I have heard some people raid the produce and sell it, and other people get quite annoyed. I would too. If you're just giving it away, they shouldn't sell it.
Well, yeah.
The people get them.
That defeats the purpose of a community garden.
Yep.
Well, there's so many wild fruit trees and stuff here that you don't need to ask or whatever. We grow all over the place. Apples, pears, apricots, cherry trees.
Johnny's back.
Welcome back, Johnny. We are enjoying our elephant ear dessert. Mm.
Greg said the best New Year's Eve I could have hoped for. Love you guys, and I love you legends in chat.
Well, thank you, Greg. We love you too, man. You're good people, dude. You are definitely good people. And I'm glad to get to know you some off of and other than YouTube. So, like I said, you never know. Maybe one of these days I'll actually make it out to Australia. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I want to know what it's like to be in the future.
Johnny said elephant ears, yum.
Mm. They're really good. This one just kind of ballooned. Definitely good.
I bet that would be good.
What?
And Eli says, how would elephant ears be with a scoop of ice cream and bananas and brown sugar and rum?
That'd be great. Imagine it would be good like with some whipped cream and berries as well. Elephant ear would make a nice base for a ton of other desserts, I bet.
Johnny said that would be one long flight.
Yes. I've taken the flight from Zurich, Switzerland to Denver a few times, and those were 14 or 15 hour flights.
Ralph says, LOL, still makes me laugh how you say apricots instead of
Apricots. Apricot. I get some of them there apricots. What's an apricot?
Greg liked Eli's idea, and so did Johnny.
It is a good idea.
Johnny said good with defibrillation paddles.
Yeah. That's no kidding. These aren't exactly for the calorie conscious. And I'll probably pay the price for eating these.
Eli said that he'll try to make them.
I've got a bad thing with acid reflux. Fatty, sugary, fried food. Boy, that just does wonders.
Spicy food. That does wonders too.
Yeah, it's funny. They say the definition of insanity is when you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I should know better. But I do. But I guess I don't do anything about it. I do something about it. I suffer. I deal with the consequences of my actions.
Is that a request, Lisa?
What's that?
Apple turnovers? She says apple turnovers are good.
No, love that. Yeah, I like turnovers. If I had my preference, I would do a raspberry or blueberry turnover. But apple is good. Cherry is good. Rhubarb turnovers are delicious.
Johnny said, yikes, old guy, I had acid reflux back in the day.
Oh, buddy, I got myself a good case of Barrett's esophagus. So that basically means that little muscle that closes your stomach up after you eat, it's pretty much doesn't work anymore. So whenever I lay down, whoosh,
Yep.
unless it's been a while, unless I'm pretty well, like, It's 7 o'clock now, and maybe I can go to bed at 11 and not suffer too badly for it. I just swept a whole pile of crap on the floor. Sorry, Mrs.
Great.
Old Guy. I was trying to sweep it into a pile, and then I swept the whole pile right onto the. Sorry.
Greg says, "Oh, my caps lock is stuck. I
Uh-oh.
hope you all have a great New Year. Love you all from the future. The future is very bright. Bring your shades."
Awesome, Greg. Thanks for hanging out with us on a celebration evening.
Yep.
Of course, for you, it's still in the morning, so you got all day yet. That's awesome. And I think we're going to get out of here. It is the 7 o'clock hour. I appreciate each and every one of you watching, whether you're in chat or just kind of watching in the shadows. Whichever the case is, I appreciate you very much. This channel would be absolutely worthless if it wasn't for you guys coming to watch Old Guy and hanging out on Saturday nights, and I really do appreciate it. Next weekend, we are doing chili dogs, so come on in for that. I will try to get the side dishes and the dessert up tonight. If not, it'll be first thing tomorrow morning. So you guys got plenty of time to vote. I'm going to get out of here, but I'm going to ask all of you, please, 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 give back in your community, okay? Help out a neighbor. Just do something to pay it forward, okay? You guys have a good week. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, what she said.
Ralph said, "We'll see you next year."